Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of Bitcoin Summer, the first of the year. This is exciting. We're going to be doing 2 episodes from now on. And if you haven't yet, please subscribe if you like the content. Today, we're going to be doing a 2022 prediction episode. We're going to be talking about what to look for, where we're headed, who's adopting Bitcoin, the Bitcoin bond. We're going to be talking about all of those things, and it's going to be very, very exciting. But we're going to have 1 lightning episode per week on the show now and 1 everything else episode, and this is the everything else episode. So out there, it's cold. In here, it's always Bitcoin Summer. Okay, as mentioned at the top, we're going to be doing some 2022 predictions. This being the beginning of the year, we're going to be going through all of the things that I think are going to happen this year. Not saying that they are going to happen, just saying that these things are a high probability of happening. A lot of these things I wanted to happen in 2021, and it just didn't formulate. So these are all of the things that kind of are still a hangover from the year. You have your New Year's Eve hangover. This is the 2021 hangover for sure. So I just included the things that we were expecting in 2021. So let's jump right into it. No time to dilly-dally. It's time to get at it. So Elon announces that Tesla is going to accept payment for cars again. Now, we all thought that this was going to happen when it was proven that Bitcoin miners actually operate on above 50% renewable energy rate. And, the fact that he hasn't accepted payment again is just a proof of his arrogance and a little bit of his kind of just childishness surrounding the space. Now, he still holds Bitcoin, and I think he still believes in it, but he still is up playing Dogecoin and saying it's better than Bitcoin. I just think, we're going to be having a quarterly release of their financials at the end of January, and I just think it might be the time for them to do that. Now, it's not certain it's not overly certain. I'm not 100% positive about this. I'm not even 80% positive about this, but it is already proven that it's, Bitcoin mining is above 50% renewable energy across the world. So there's no reason to be holding back, not accepting that as payment anymore. And I think it'll be a signal to the market, actually, why it does matter for the price of Bitcoin, not for the adoption of Bitcoin. But in the long run, it's a blip. But in the short run, it would be good for the price because it's going to signal to the market that a company that is environmentally forward or forward thinking, on paper, because he does fire rockets into the sky, everybody. It's not just electric cars. So, with all of this ESG talk and all of this signaling for the market that this company is 100% or this asset is 100% environmentally friendly, this will signal to the market that it is safe to jump back in to Bitcoin again, because ESG is such a large narrative in the traditional financial space. So what are we talking about next? We're going to be talking about the ETF approval. I think that this will happen within the first half of 2022. And some people are aiming more towards the February, right around, I think it's February 8th is when the SEC is scheduled to take another look at it. Now, the reason why I tend to agree that it might be in February is because the last time around, the last deadline was December 24th, and we did see a huge price drop when they said that they were going to be postponing it. But to me, I thought that was very positive news, because a postponement is better than an outright denial, and they've just been straight up denying these other ones. And this is for the GBTC, the grayscale Bitcoin Trust conversion. And I have said long time on this show that will for sure be the first Bitcoin ETF, will be that conversion, because there's so many in assets sitting in the GBTC Bitcoin Trust. And it would just be political suicide if they decided to not convert that first before they approved another one. So these other ones are getting just smacked down. And I think there's been signals the last couple days even that, Gary Gensler has been signaling a pathway for approval. Right here, I just found this. Now, this is an interesting read right here if you guys want to check it out. I'll have the link down below. But, he's now signaling a pathway with maybe a little bit stiffer rules, but he's laying out a pathway for companies to use to get approved. And I just think it's around the corner. And also, Hester Pierce just recently had a hearing today, and she's been a huge proponent of Bitcoin, and she is a commissioner of the SEC, and her comment today is she does not understand why a Bitcoin ETF has not been approved. Now, we all know that the futures ETF got approved, but why not the spot? It just doesn't make any sense. It looks like the SEC is in bed with the hedge funds and the bigger players in this game and giving them cover first and giving their little taste of the pie for them instead of the rest of us. So, interesting thing to keep an eye on there. Now, what also I'm looking for in 2022 is a better CPI print. Now, we just hit 6.8 in December, and people like Preston Pish have been calling that to be the top. Now, he thinks it's going to still remain high, but he thinks that's going to be the top. If we start seeing a little bit of a weaker inflation rate, this could be very good for Bitcoin, and this is why. The Fed is worried about inflation, and rightly so, because people are starting to realize inflation in their own home. So what they have signaled to the market is that they're going to be tapering these bond purchases that they've been doing every month. And so by the middle, or by the spring actually of 2022, according to them, they will be not buying any more of those treasury bonds every month. It was $120 billion a month. I went over it on the last episode. $120 billion a month they were printing to buy these treasury bonds to prop up the markets. And they will have way more leeway now if we get a lower CPI print to taper. And I think, once we start seeing the real weakness in the stock market, they're going to start to take their foot off that tapering gas pedal. So they're also what they're doing, and this is definitely in the camp of Preston calling for the top of the CPI print, is that they're going to be changing the calculation of the CPI yet again. Now, Greg Foss, somebody like Greg Foss has been saying that if we went by the CPI standards that were in the 1980s, we would be seeing a CPI print more of right around the 10% range, right around there. And, so it's already, the 6.8 is already low. So they're going to try to, tinker with it again to make it even lower and to signal to the market that everything's okay. Everything is not okay. They're just changing the rules of the game. So all of this could lead to a more bullish move for Bitcoin. In the long run, for sure. In the short run, we're going to probably see some bumpiness. So be watching out for that in 2022 for sure. Now, we're going to want to keep an eye on early in the year this Bitcoin bond. I think that there's going to be an oversubscription to it. I think people are going to flock to this bond because it's going to have higher payouts, obviously, and probably be beating inflation in most countries. So I think a lot of big investors are going to be flocking to this bond. And if there's an oversubscription, there is no doubt in my mind that other countries are going to start to offer these sorts of bonds, and where you buy Bitcoin and sit on it like a Michael Saylor type of a thing. This will lead to other country adoption, and I think it'll be smaller countries first, but once the dominoes start falling, it's going to be hard to stop. And more time might need to pass to see how Bitcoin works in El Salvador, and if it's a success story. This will definitely be a green light for other countries to adopt. We might be seeing more of a 2023 thing for that, but just keep an eye out. I think there will be an oversubscription, and if there is, huge positive for Bitcoin. Now, I think in 2022, we're going to have a major corporation announce Bitcoin adoption in some sort of a way. And I've been screaming on this show that it's going to be Apple or Google or somebody that will be dialing that into their payment system. And if that were to happen, or even Amazon, if that were to happen, watch out. It's going to be insane. And I think it won't just need to be a treasury adoption for these companies, although it would be smart for them to do it because they're sitting on tons and tons of US dollars right now. But it would be incumbent on them to start, getting into throwing their hat into the ring against Square, because Square is just eating their lunch right now. Square, now known as Block. So the reason why I say this major corporation announcement might happen in 2022 is because it did not materialize in 2021. It led to a huge disappointment in the Bitcoin market, and I think it led to a lot of consternation and a lot of people backing away from complete adoption of Bitcoin, especially from those bigger players with a lot of money. Even though we do see a lot of money coming in right now, I think the floodgates have not even opened yet. So all of these things I'm looking for in 2022. So it's going to be an exciting year. I think it's going to be probably more exciting than 2021, but we'll see. And 2021 was very exciting. If you did not see that episode, please check that out. I did the 2021 year in review. So check that out if you haven't yet. Also check out the Cold Card video. I did a setup video for Cold Card and how you can set it up on your Spectre wallet, which will be connected to your node. It's a wonderful video, and I put it out over Christmas week, so it didn't quite get the play that I wanted it to. So I just want to remind you guys, check that out again. And possibly in 2022 as well. I am not going to be releasing anything Christmas week because it was just a dud. So nobody watches anything Christmas week. So I might just, enjoy my family, which I did this year. So that's totally fine. I recorded that the week before. So that was a smart move as well. But let me do a brief portfolio update, and then we are going to call it for the day. Now, the Bitcoin summer portfolio, as you can see, we're going to be setting up for this big play. I did a major move in on my HUT shares, my HUT 8 shares. And as I have explained on the show before, I'm going to be selling covered calls for these shares. Now, I have 4,000 shares, and that I will be able to sell 40 call options. And I will be doing that at an opportune time, hopefully within the first quarter here in 2022. So be on the lookout for more portfolio updates. And I'm not going to go too much in detail right here because not much has happened. And I will fill you in once I start selling those calls. And we'll see, hopefully, we can start climbing this wall of red that I see in my portfolio right now. So looking for the 2022 plan also as well. I am going to be shooting for 1,000 subscribers. So please subscribe if you haven't yet. I'm almost there, almost to 600. So to get to 1,000 this year would be just awesome if we get there. So if you haven't yet, please subscribe and enjoy the rest of your week. Be looking out for the other episode this week, which will be a lightning episode. I am going to be actually doing an episode on, we're going to be signing a transaction, and we're going to be signing a Mark Scene invoice. And this is an interesting thing that I just found out about over Christmas break. And we're also going to be connecting our node to a wallet called Fully Noted. And this, not just Fully Noted if you don't want to connect your node to that. You can do it with any other RPC wallet, and I'm going to be showing you how to do that on the next episode. So please stay tuned. Don't miss out on the following. It's going to be an exciting year. Remember, 2 episodes per week. So hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on anything further. And I'm sorry I've been a little bit behind on the audio versions for the podcast, but I will be catching those up, and I might even be caught up by the time this airs. So please look out for that too. I'm on all of the podcast apps under Bitcoin Summer. So thanks for joining me today, and have a great week.